I have a special gift coming soon. Something for everyone to talk about. And it will be hand-delivered, on foot, not by car.
He left, he ran, he chased after me.
I was getting ready to be stabbed in the back. I was like, he's coming for me.
Does this text message have a deadly double meaning?
You have to do something, please.
And a father explodes in anger.
I give up. I give up. I
Lake Luzerne in upstate New York is a camper's heaven. Plenty of water, woods, and beaches to attract New Yorkers looking to escape the city in the summer.
This part of the world is often called God's country. It's just a beautiful area.
It was also home for Patricia Burns, a beloved hospice nurse.
What was your mom like?
Oh, she was just one in a million. She was just so funny.
She was very spunky and outgoing and just always had just fun plans and just loved to dance.
We had tons of good nights, just up dancing in the kitchen.
But the fireball of energy was plagued with one big problem. When it came to men, she picked the wrong ones. One boyfriend, Ted Backus, was arrested after cops say he hit Patricia. And then there was the rocky marriage to Clifford Burns.
My mom worked at Dunkin' Donuts, and she was one of the drive-through ladies, and he would just come through every day and eventually asked her for her number.
At first, Cliff to his friends, seemed like a great catch. He owned his own business. He was an avid fisherman and a die-hard Mets fan. But in between trips to Times Square and rides on his custom motorcycle, this blended family filled with smiles was hiding a darkness behind closed doors.
At what point did you witness any physical violence?
Right after they got married, he just started pushing her and slapping her.
Megan Jenkins was only 5 when Cliff became her new dad.
She tried to she was a fixer.
The couple would eventually have 2 girls together, Harley and Autumn.
I guess my childhood was good and bad because we were fortunate enough to have like awesome Christmases and stuff and nice family vacations, but other times our family was just so not normal.
Cliff was deeply scarred from a childhood that could only be described as hell.
I know that his mom suffered a lot of abuse from his dad, and she stayed for whatever reason for the kids, and it got so bad to the point where his dad shot my grandma Edith in the arm, and she ended up surviving.
Sadly, Burns would go from watching domestic violence as a kid to committing it as an adult.
Do you remember how he was towards your mother?
I remember my dad beating my mom's face and like on top of her, us standing there and like being helpless.
He just had a lot of rage.
Victims of domestic violence will often say the same thing. The years and years of fighting just become normal.
My mom has given my dad so many chances, and he'll come back into the house for 2 weeks and be the best dad ever, buy us gifts, give us money, bribe us, and 2 weeks later, he's back to the same old abusive dad.
Then, out of nowhere, this family already on the edge would be rocked by tragedy. One of Patricia's daughters, Cliff's stepdaughter, Crystalline, would go to sleep one night and never wake up.
No drugs, no alcohol in her system. She was like the perfect 15-year-old girl.
Chris was like the angel child, you know. My mom lost a big part of her.
They did 2 autopsies on her and never found anything.
To this day, the mysterious death still remains just that, a mystery. But one thing that is clear, in her moment of blinding sadness, Patricia would finally see what she had to do. She needed to get out.
So after your sister passed, there was a change in the household and your mom started taking a stand for herself.
I think Chris passing really gave her the strength to want to leave Cliff. This is your life. This is all you have. You know, you got to make the best of it.
Patricia told Cliff she wanted a divorce and moved into an apartment above a hardware store.
Were you glad when she finally left your father and got her own place?
I just always hoped for the best. I was like, Mom and Dad are going to be okay this time. Like, I just always hoped things would be different.
In a decision she calls weird, Harley decided not to go with her mom, but to stay with her dad.
I didn't really like the schooling up there, so I was like, I'm gonna be with my friends and be with my dad and visit my mom on the weekends.
At first, she says she felt safe because no matter how badly things got, Cliff would never raise a hand to his daughters. But Harley would soon learn, without Patricia around to feel the brunt of his anger, she would become his target.
He would be a great dad. He'll give me some money to go shopping, but something like triggered in him. And once he started talking about my mom, he would take it out on me, call me these nasty, nasty names.
After several months, Harley claims the verbal abuse became too much, so she decided to move back in with her mom and younger sister, Autumn.
She was always there for me. And it just makes me sad because I took that for granted.
Unfortunately, Harley's attempt at a normal life back at her mom's place would be temporarily derailed. That's because while she was living with her dad, Patricia had started up another ill-fated relationship.
Patricia's new boyfriend, Ted Backus, would be arrested after assaulting Burns, firing a gun into the ceiling and then having a standoff with police.
Backus would eventually plead guilty to 1 misdemeanor of discharging a firearm, get only probation, and be slapped with a court order not to see Patricia for 3 years. Months passed. The summer turned to the winter, and as the snow fell, the Burns women were preparing for a peaceful Christmas, something they hadn't had in years. But then, a text message would arrive.
What did the message say?
I have a special gift for all of you. I hope that you're all there to see it.
Coming up, who sent that text? And was the special gift a secret code for murder?
All of a sudden, I see somebody in full camo, even a mask, and he was just pushing Mom up against the wall.
Oh my God, it's full of blood. I was born. My sister's gonna die. You need to get people here.
You believe that December 22nd text message was a direct threat to you and to your family?
Yep.